Hi guys, if it's Tuesday, it's Down and Dirty Woodscraft. Stay with me. Okay guys, today we're out doing a little bit of scouting for a new campsite, and we're going to make a down and dirty quick table. Now this is something you can throw up in camp fairly easy as long as you got scrub stuff to utilize as far as wood, and you got a little bit of bank line and something to cut with. Now a freestanding table can be made from simply driving stakes in the ground and then putting the top on it, but it's always going to have a wiggle. Down here in my south, we've got plenty of trees. I always anchor one end to a tree and come off of a tree. And I always set myself up so I can recover my bank line when I get ready to go. So let me show you how we're going to do this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to determine this is where I'm going to put my end of my table at. It's got a nice hook right here. So I'll have a loop that goes through it to my pole so my poles cannot slide down the tree. And there will be a scissor action coming forward. I'll explain that in a minute. We're going to come out here and then we're going to have an X, two driven in the ground, anchored at the top, two coming out, and then a base going across the top. I know that sounds technical. Let me show you how it's done. Okay, come to my tree. I've determined that these are going to be the two side rails of my table. Think of it like the structure, you know, the main frame. What I've done is I've measured by putting these on the other side of the tree and figuring out how wide I want it spread and how close these need to be in the back. And I've taken and tied to one and then made a couple of loops going around, and then I have tied it off. Then I have twisted it up a couple times to make this hinge. Now this is going to go on the back side of the tree like this, and this is going to make it wide. Now when I pull them together, they scissor and grip the tree tighter. Got it? Okay, here's my two poles coming from my tree. I put a crossbar on, and here's a simple scissor X coming up as the table. It's sitting, front table leg, it's sitting in the V that I've created, and I've cut that one off short. I'm going to leave this one long as a pot hanger or whatever. I have multiple hanging parts for small pots, and now it's fairly stable. Not great, but fairly. On that end, I'll now lash it so it goes up around that loop so that end cannot go down. Now let me show you a little more detail of what I'm doing. Okay, coming from the tree, crossbar from underneath, a simple scissor X coming up, but I've cut the inside one off short and left the other one on long. Now this end up here, all it is on the back is simply that loop I talked about, gone around a couple of times, and this acts like a pincer, like a walnut cracker or nut cracker to grip the tree. Now through this notch, I'll run a loop from here to there so this end doesn't slide down, and that will complete the stability of the thing. Then it's simply decking. Okay, what I've done now is I've got the loop securing it up to the tree. I've got my fillers put in to be the ribs of the table. Technically I could just leave it, and on this end what I've done is I've taken cordage and ran from the outer pole to the outer pole and made like a saddle for those poles just to lay in. They're just sitting there at the moment. Now, how elaborate do you want to go with it at this point? If this is just a down and dirty quick, and which is what this is for demonstration purposes or whatever, this will handle anything I want to put up here right now within reason. Now yes, it's a little side to side, but not bad. I could easily put my cook pot and my other stuff up here, and usually when you're making a table like this, the purpose is for cooking or something like that. It allows me to be able to stand here and put my gear out and do whatever it is I need to do for the camp. just simply laying them up here like this will do 95% of it. If I want to secure it, I can run some cordage around the ends. If I want to make this more permanent, more rigid, what I can do is, in an earlier video, I showed how I would take a piece of bank line, make a loop with a tie on the end. I stuck the pole in, twist, stuck the pole in, twist, torque it all tight and make a rigid top. I could make that and put up here for a more permanent. If I'm going to make an elevated cooking platform, and that's what this lends itself to very well. Why would I want to do that? One, the ground is sodden wet. Any fire I build on the ground is going to get steam coming up. If I'm going to be here a while, and if I know we're going to be in wet weather for several days, I may build one of these. I raise it up, I build it sturdy, and then in this section right here, I layer 4 to 6 inches of dirt. I'll put the poles as tight as I can, then I'll pile pine straw, and then I'll put 4 to 6 inches of dirt on top of it and build a fire on top of that. I'll use my pot hanger coming down from up here, and I'll have an elevated cooking platform that I don't have to bend over, and I can just have an elevated platform. For my food prep, cooking needs or whatever, this is sufficient. I can hang pots and pans off these hooks. I can put my pack right here if I want to have access, and all of this is available and quick. Now the whole time it would take to create this, if you're not stopping to talk like I am, would be about 10-15 minutes. Just something down and dirty and quick. I want it to be strong enough, and it is, that it'll support a few pounds. Now notice that left to right tippy. I have to be mindful of that, but if I'm just sitting stuff down the middle, it's fine. What if I need to upgrade a little bit? Well, I can go get a couple of poles that have got a notch in it and hook right here on these, and that would solidify it. Just stick them in the ground and then slide it underneath that. That would anchor it and stop that side to side tipping. It's very simple, very easy. So, to recap, what you want to do is find a tree in the location you want. Second, I need a source of cordage and a way to cut wood. 3, I want to take my 2 base poles, the ones right here that's running underneath for my frame. I'm going to bring them together, lash them together so that they act like a walnut cracker and go around the tree. At the far end, I'm going to lash a crossbar to the bottom of it. Then I'm going to make a scissor X to come up to hold it up at the proper height. Then I'm going to run cordage between the 2 poles, lay my uprights on it. I'm going to make sure that the tree is anchored to my 2 uprights so it don't slide down the tree. Even though it's good and tightly scissored, I don't want it to slide. And then I will make improvements as the need occurs. Okay? That's as simple and down and dirty as I can make it. So in like 10 to 15 minutes, I can have a table. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And until next time, I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge Woodscraft. Wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.